Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Union Pine Sports Time. My name is Justin Blackburn, voice of Viking football. I'm here with head coach Matt Quinn. And as always, thank you for watching. Thanks, the Timeout Sports Grill for having us, hosting us, getting this thing cracking. Coach, the first two episodes went pretty well for us.
Yes,
I think.
sir. I'd say more laid back.
Yeah.
This is a game week.
Yep.
Things change. The atmosphere around the schools changed.
Yep.
The atmosphere in the locker room, the weight room, practice is completely different. The scrimmages were great. Midnight Madness was great, but this week is the real deal.
Time to get down to business. So, Coach, speaking of scrimmages, you guys went out Wednesday, and then you had another deal on Friday. Would you like to talk about your Wednesday scrimmage? What did you see in that?
Yeah, Wednesday we faced off at Cape Fear High School against Douglas Byrd. A very difficult offense to stop, especially when scrimmages come around. You're not really game planning. You just really want to work on yourself. A difficult offense to stop, but once our defense settled in, they calmed down and stopped them. We ended up tying them 18-18 in that scrimmage at Cape Fear.
Very nice, Coach. And your Friday scrimmages, you said they were about 20 minutes apiece.
Yes.
Got to see 3 different sets. So how did those go?
We actually played 4 teams,
teams
for 20 minutes each. We went 10 plays of offense, 10 plays of defense.
Gotcha.
And I was very, very impressed with our defense. They bounced back from Wednesday and only gave up 1 touchdown all night, which was an awesome feat for our defense.
It sounds like a good time there, Coach. So, based on the scrimmages and going into your first, regular season game this week, what are some things that stood out to you? Who were some players that we're going to see in the highlights here? Who were some players that you thought stood out?
Defensively, I would say the biggest standout for us up front on the defensive line would be David Stem. We call him Virginia. He just transferred here. Military family come from Virginia, so if you hear us yelling Virginia, that's who we're talking about.
Gotcha.
But he did a great job for us in both scrimmages. Tall, lean kid that gets off the ball pretty well. On the offensive side, Brandon Deloach had multiple touchdowns in both scrimmages. Did a great job going up and getting the ball for us, running crisp routes, and then he blocked his tail off when Justin was running the ball.
I believe last week you called Deloach Mr. Reliable.
Mr. Reliable.
Is that what it was?
And he stood up to that name.
Very nice, Coach. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some highlights. So, Coach, coming back from the highlight reel, we're going to start this new thing called Coach of the Week, and you're going to pick out one of your staff and talk about him and explain a little bit. So, who's your Coach of the Week this week?
This week, our Coach of the Week was our defensive coordinator, Greg Simmons. He turned it around from Wednesday, got his defense refocused. Friday night, gave up 1 touchdown, as you've seen in the highlights. A very, very big turnaround for our defense. They're rallying to the ball. They're pursuing. They're making tackles. They're doing everything that we're asking of them right now, and Coach Simmons is doing a great job with the defense.
So shout out to Coach Simmons as the first week Coach of the Week. And now, ladies and gentlemen, pretty special episode. We're going to get into some player interviews. So, Coach, you ready for some players to come on the
players, yeah, we'll have a couple of player interviews. All of them will be from our leadership council, leaders of this team. Seniors, and then 1 junior from our leadership council that will be with you today, Justin.
Awesome. Sounds good. Let's get to some player interviews. So we've got our first player up with us right now. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Cameron McCoy, and I play offensive line.
Cameron McCoy on the offensive line. So, Cameron, for this upcoming season, what's one thing that you're most excited for?
I think I'm most excited just to get out there and play with all my teammates. It's my senior year. I'm just going to try to go out there and have fun. I'm pretty interested to see what we can do this season.
Very nice, very nice. So senior offensive lineman, ready to get after it this season. And Cameron, from your junior year to your senior year, have you noticed any, major changes in your play or in style of play for Viking football?
Last year we had a good team. We had a lot of talent out there, but I think this year we're less of a team and more of a brotherhood. This year we've really been focusing on everybody bonding and having each other's backs, and I like that a lot. Awesome,
sounds good. So, Cameron McCoy, offensive lineman, ready for this upcoming Viking football season. Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you.
So we've got our second player up. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
My name's Matt Green. I play inside linebacker.
Inside linebacker. This is one of the big hitters right here. So Matt, what are you most excited for Viking football this year?
Winning. I'm excited to have all of our hard work throughout the summer and spring pay off in the fall.
Ready to get some W's and put them in the win column there. So I'm thinking I'm hearing a championship run. Is that what you're going for?
Hopefully.
Absolutely,
we got to take it one game at a time.
One game at a time.
Focus on each opponent as the season goes on.
Awesome, man. I like that. So from your time with Viking football, have you noticed any major changes from your junior to your senior year?
Definitely. I think there's more energy. People want to be around Viking football. People are excited for it, and I think that's going to make a difference in our playing.
Man. I was going to say at the Midnight Madness, it's a pretty good time.
Yes, it
pretty
was.
good time, pretty wild time. So excited for Viking football. This is Matt Green here, inside linebacking, looking for some big hits. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Player interview number 3, wearing the number 45. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hey, my name's Kamal Fairley. I play inside linebacker.
Another inside linebacker, another big hitter here. Kamal, what are you excited for with Viking football this year?
I'm excited to go out there and win, playing for a new coach. He's high intensity. The team is high intensity. I'm just ready to go out there and win with my brothers.
Out there with a brand new coach, high intensity, high velocity. I like it. Awesome, man. Have you noticed any changes in Viking football from your time with us?
It's a lot more conditioning, which what we needed back in the past. We didn't really condition a lot, and the team is more of a family. We more hyped, ready to play. Nobody have to tell us to get hyped, nothing like that. The intensity is very high in practice. We're even in the weight room. Don't have to tell nobody to do nothing. All the sets get done, everything. No slacking.
Awesome. No slacking, high intensity. We're ready for some high velocity football here, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Kamal. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Wearing the number 9, and I believe you see this guy in behind the center every night. Go ahead, man.
I'm Josh Polidori. I play quarterback for Union Pines. Very excited for this season. Glad to have you on.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So what are you most excited for with Viking football this year?
The energy. The energy is fantastic. Really goal-oriented this year. Just excited to win and put it all together for once.
Awesome. So goal-oriented, high intensity. You've heard from the guys beforehand. It seems like this is just high octane. It's going to be fast and furious this season. I like it. So with your time with Viking football, have you noticed some changes in your play and your teammates' play?
Yes, I have. It's, like I said, energy, big time, and it's a brotherhood this year and process. We're really trying to put the little things together where I think we kind of got a little slack, and this year I'm really excited just putting it all together and finally winning some games.
Absolutely, man. Putting the little things together. It's all about the little things.
Yep.
Goal-oriented, and working a step at a time to get
Exactly.
to reach that final goal.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Josh. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
On to the next player interview. Go ahead, man. Introduce yourself.
I'm Hayden Tyson. I play outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. So it looks like we've got the entire linebacking core on this episode. So what are you most excited for with Viking football?
Just to get out there with the guys and just start playing football for actual games that count for the season.
There you go, getting ready for the regular season. So your linebacking core, we've had two of your boys out here already talked a little bit. What have you noticed with the linebacking core? I want you to focus specifically
Well, this
on
is
that.
my first year on varsity with Kamal and Matt, and over the summer I've just been building a bond with them, and it's fun to play out there with them together.
Awesome. So I hear you talking about the brotherhood that a lot of your players have mentioned so far. High velocity and going after it. Is that what you're going to do, man?
Yes, sir.
I hear you do. Awesome. Thank you. Here with the last but certainly not least of the player interviews. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Andrew Butner, number 75, play left tackle.
Left tackle. One of the big boys up front now. I've had the pleasure of teaching Andrew here, and he's an awesome guy, really great, down-to-earth young man. So Andrew, what are you excited for with Viking football?
Oh, well, from an O-line perspective, I'm ready to have a 1,500 to 2,000 yard back in the backfield. Justin Eberhardt's a real special kid back there, and I think if we do our jobs and stay low and have our techniques, that he could definitely get 2,000 yards for us.
Awesome, man. So trying to get that running back some yards. So with your time with Viking football, have you noticed changes in your play and with your boys out on the field?
Yeah, most definitely. For me, got to get back in the grind of things and work on my technique a little bit, but we'll get that all together. But yeah, this year is definitely discipline, I'd say, is a big thing that we've worked on this year, and just all working as a team and all. And
Awesome, Andrew. Thank you, man.
yeah, thank you.
So we're back after some player interviews, and right now we want to take a little bit of time to talk about our first matchup this week. We have East Montgomery at home. So, Coach, would you like to go ahead and talk about East Montgomery a little bit?
Yes, we are all focus, all eyes, all attention toward East Montgomery. This is game week for us. They have some pretty good players that we are trying to figure out how to stop. Number one is playing in the slot for them. Number two, playing running back. Last year, Union Pines had the lead at the half, so we really have been preaching and focusing on finishing the second half, finishing in the fourth quarter. So we'll try to find a way to slow those number one and number two down and make some things happen on offense and hopefully come out on top.
Awesome. Sounds good, Coach. I think in years past, I've heard East Montgomery been thrown around a little bit. Definitely a tough out-of-conference opponent.
Yes.
Good way to start the season off, get the boys in the grind.
Yes, the lifetime record between Union Pines and East Montgomery is 20 wins for Union Pines, 19 wins for East Montgomery, and one tie between the two. We're trying to keep that record on our side, and hopefully if we do the right things and focus on eliminating mistakes, we can come out on top.
Sounds good, Coach. So trying to keep that keep the favor in Union Pines with that 2019-1 record there. So, Coach, I believe we got a special guest coming up next. Going to talk about their student section a little bit.
Yes, sir. We'll
Sounds
do that
good.
next.
All right. So we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Ambrose. Introduce yourself, man.
I'm John Ambrose. I'm the student section leader here at Union Pines High School.
Awesome. So, Coach Quinn, elaborate for us a little bit. What's the importance of a student section?
The
when it
student
comes to football?
section, really hypes our team up. They get the crowd into it. They get the students into it. They get the fans into it. They're making noise when the other team is on offense, yelling and screaming, trying to distract the other team. And really, it's a huge motivator for our kids and for myself to have those kids behind us.
I've had this young man in class as well, and once again, I think Ambrose, you've got the personality to be the student section leader, man. So what are some things you want to see for the student section this year? What would you like to see out of your crew?
Yes, sir. Well, we've always struggled with making sure that we have a big participant group in there. A lot of the times, kids will come in and they sit on the hill beside the bleachers instead of coming in the student section and cheering with us. So we really want to get that group in the student section, know the cheers, and get everybody yelling as a unified group instead of separated.
Awesome. So getting everybody there and into the crowd. I believe last year you guys started with some themes. You would do some theme nights. Do you see
Yes,
that
sir.
coming back in as well?
Yes, sir. We're definitely doing that. This coming Friday, we're going to do whiteout. Everybody's going to white out the stands. We got some great themes coming around.
Awesome. So you heard that from Mr. Ambrose himself. This Friday night, August 18th, it's a whiteout in the student section. So if you're checking this out as a student, make sure you get your white on.
And I didn't even mention this before we started filming because I wanted to surprise our kids and our student section leader. But I've come up with an idea to get some participants and to help this whiteout.
All right.
The first 100 students in the gate get a free student section T-shirt.
Really? All right.
First 100 students in the gate will get a free white student section T-shirt.
Awesome, awesome. So what do you have to do to get this shirt there, Coach?
There will be a table set up. There will be someone there to hand out your
All right,
student
yes,
section
sir.
shirts. You show your ID, just prove that you're a Union Pine student, and that T-shirt is yours, and you go rock it out in the student section.
Awesome. That sounds great.
So there you go. Once again, if you're there, first 100 students into the gate, get that student section shirt on and come support your boys on August 18th, East Montgomery.
August 18th, 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. Ambrose.
No problem.
So as this third edition of Union Pine Sports Time comes to a close, once again, we'd like to thank Timeout Sports Grill for hosting us as always. This is a cool little setup here, Coach. I really like this
Yes,
little area. they
Timeout's
got
doing
it.
a great job. We'll always thank them and give them credit for this show.
Once again, always like to shout out to our administration at Union Pines High School that make this possible as well. Principal Andy McCormick, our assistant principals, great staff to work with at Union Pines. Awesome. Coach, I'd like to give a shout out to your coaching staff that have been getting these boys ready, all summer long. And here it is, game week, getting ready for the grind now.
Absolutely. Game week is upon us. It's time to get to work for real. This is when the scoreboard comes on and it actually counts. So our kids' attitude and effort will do nothing but skyrocket from here. And what we're focusing on is getting 1% better each day. And from Wednesday scrimmage to Friday scrimmage, we got a little bit better. So as long as we're always on the incline, we will be fine.
On the incline, getting better every day. And Coach, our VIP tent?
VIP tent, Buffalo Wild Wings VIP tent. The current high bid for game number 1 is up to $200 now.
Good gracious, man. So, hey, once again, the first ever Buffalo Wild Wings VIP tent, East Montgomery, August 18th, this Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, come out and support Viking football. It's going to be a great season, great time. Coach, thanks for being here, man. Great
Thank you
episode.
for having us here, Justin.
With the player interviews and all, we're signing out. Thank you for watching Union Pine Sports Time.
Go Vikings.